If dreams die, rely on yourself and no way. Believe.
Good morning. It's a full house and I have bad internet. It's a great day. Um, if I'm cracking up or breaking up, I'll wait a minute until it pops back into being normal. Um, the weather here is kind of fickle and it messes with a lot. So thank you guys for tuning in. Nonetheless, hello for tuning in. Today's topic is going to be a little bit more subdued, but kind of not at the same time. We're going to be talking about individual. Excuse me. A certain individual who some seem to not fully understand hasn't changed, but we love to think that he has. All right. So we're going to talk about him today. We're going to talk about him. Old God versus new God. We all know the concept of God is the same today, yesterday, and forever. Okay. I think we all know about that. So if that is the case, why is he so different today than yesterday? Why? Why are so many trying to tell you that he is different? They want to tell you, oh, he's a God of love. He does not judge like that anymore. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some characteristics of the man and see exactly if he's changed or not. We'll see if he's changed or not. Okay. So let's take a gander at some stuff. And I'll ask a question, and you tell me if this sounds like the same God. Okay. When Sodom and Gomorrah was dealt with, um, there was a certain behavior that took place by God. Um, if anyone can remember what he did, um, there was quite a disturbance in Sodom and Gomorrah. Fire, brimstone, burned it to the ground, destruction, absolutely laid waste to it. The Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew the cities and an entire plan, destroying all of those living in the cities and all the vegetation of the land. That's God. Adam and Eve heard the voice of the Lord walking in the cool of the day. And he said, Adam, why do you hide? Where are you? That was God. Then in Exodus, plagues of frogs and boils and death of firstborn. That was God. Then David losing the child that he had with Bathsheba. That was God. Then forgiving mankind of their sins by sending his son, that was God. Giving us an audience with him, that was God. Coming back to judge the earth, that's God. So, how do you square that circle of it being today where we only talk about the loving, happy, generous, forgiving nature of God, say that he's the same, but seem to forget or ignore, or even sometimes say that's no longer the case, the destructive, vengeance, angry, cannot dwell where evil is side of God. Um, we forget sometimes that he has not changed at all. This is also God. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend into the heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the morning, I dwell on the far side of the sea. Even there, your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. That was God. There is no changing who God is. But a lot of people today love to harp and push the softer qualities of God. We take the person Jesus and we make him into this what's the best word? Makes him into a fairy tale version of God. We like to take today's idea of what we consider ease and love and place it as the main characteristic of God. He is love. It's not a characteristic of him. He is love. But he is also vengeance. He is wrath. Do not get it twisted for 1 minute that for some reason God is just overly nice all the time. He treats evil a certain way, and that never has and never will change. While he might be giving everyone a second chance in salvation, he will be very, very, very efficient at tossing them into the lake of fire as well. Do not think for a moment that when the church tells you God is love, that he will tolerate certain things. Today's church has given God a bad name in that they nitpick, pluck at, pick and choose the characteristics of God that they feel will best earn them numbers. People today want God to be soft. They want him to be malleable to their desire. They want him to be adjustable. So, in light of that, um, we're going to read something I'm going to read something. You see, there is a character in the Bible named Job. And Job, for all intents and purposes, was a godly man. And then we all know the written story about the devil going to ask God to test him. If he really was your servant, you'll see. He wouldn't like you if you took all his stuff from him. He said, okay, bet. Did that. And what we're going to read is the God of the universe himself showing up. And I want you to understand something. This particular description that he's giving of himself is him. So don't think for a minute that this concept that the church is pushing to you about the love, 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 love is all he is. Please understand that is a portion who he is. A portion. And a very over exaggerated portion. Because he who he loves, he chastises. And sometimes when you're chastised, it's brutal. Okay? Case in point, in Job 40, after all of Job's friends have chimed in their 2 cents, will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who accuses God answer him. Now, I don't know how many of you have been in the position of being the kid and you're, we'll say father, but if you have none, a mother or a parent or an overseer walks into the room and says, who you think you're talking to? You ever had that happen? Like, say that one more time. You think you say that one more, say it again. You ever had that happen? Yeah. Do you remember that sensation that riddled your body when your parent took it from I'd like to talk to you to what? Say that again? You you remember that feeling you felt? That that utter minuscule kind of oh wow, okay, oh man, this ain't good. That feeling? I have a suspicion. I'm not trying to I don't think I know, but I have a suspicion that it was that 100-fold for Job when God spoke up. I have a suspicion that that is exactly how Job felt when God showed up and talked to him like, "Oh, you gonna correct me? You, you go? All right, all right. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk, Job." And instantly, you know how you say, "I'm sorry, mom. I'm sorry, dad. I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? I put my hand over my mouth. I spoke once, but I have no answer. Twice, but I will say no more." I think we forget that there was a time where approaching God was pomp, circumstance, and to the letter of action needed to get to Him. You had a lineup of things you had to do. That not just any and everyone could go before God. There was a process. And when you got there, there is a innate reverence that sets in right away. We have forgotten that. We have forgotten that. Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. That is pivotal. Storm. a storm. Okay, not just some regular a storm. So there's already dread over the man. Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Would you discredit my justice? Would you condemn me to justify yourself? Do you have an arm like God's? Can your voice thunder like his? Then adorn yourself with glory and splendor and clothe yourself in honor and majesty. Unleash the fury of your wrath. Look at all who are proud and bring them low. Look at all who are proud and humble them. Crush the wicked where they stand. Bury them all in the dust together. Shroud their faces in the grave. Then I myself will admit to you that your own right hand can save you. Lest we forget, that is God. But that's the old God, right? That is the old God. Many today have heard from the pulpit that, oh, he's not willing anyone should suffer, and he doesn't want you to be hurt, and he doesn't want you to be sad, and he is love. And you've realized how they switched off the God of old to the new God, and they don't ever tell people about the other side of God, the side of God that cannot tolerate any iniquity. That side of God they've forgotten. But then when people don't fully get the penalty that should be applied to their sin, and they get mad at God because he should be loving, they blame the person for not understanding and not themselves for not teaching who God really is. You see, they want God to be something that they can approach, which he is now. He created a brand new way for us to approach him. Less pomp, less circumstance, less incense. Of course, all that stuff is now done in the heavenlies for us on our behalf. We don't have to do that. But we forget that the same God that would crush an enemy by sending out his people to kill them entirely, the same God that flooded the earth, the same God that burned Sodom and Gomorrah to the ground, is the exact same God that's calling us to come before him and talk. I remember when I was younger having a distinct fear of my father. And when I say fear, I don't mean I was afraid of my father. I had an innate fear of him. One version of my fear was that I did not want to wound him emotionally. I was afraid of hurting him. But I also knew that he was a strong man and that he was a disciplinarian and that he required obedience from myself towards my mom and himself. I understood that he was very much capable of laying me low with one backhand. I fully got that. That was not removed from my mind that if I ever talked out a line to my mother, there was going to be a big brown hand coming across the way and go plow. Quite aware of it. But I also understood that my father loved me to death. I was 100% confident that my father, if anything were to go wrong with me, he would stop at nothing to make it right. I knew that in both heart and head about my father, but I also knew that he was not the man to be trifled with. You did not push his love to the brink of him having to act upon my behavior. I did not want to take that chance. It was never something I was going to push. And he would always, if he ever did act upon something that I did wrong, you could sense from him this displeasure of having to do it, but he knew it had to be done. And I think we don't realize that God is exactly the same, except exponentially more. Exponentially more. Do not fear those who can kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. We like to say that God's wrath is upon the earth for the non believers, but I want to propose something to you. We spoke yesterday about those who have tasted and have decided to walk away, that there is no more sacrifice left for them. Aside from the obvious that that is scary, the flip side is there is no sacrifice left and that you are without him. And that the next thing you have to face is his wrath. If we don't tell people that the same God that possesses the ability to forgive our sin and save us is the same God that, if we don't accept it, will indeed put us somewhere we don't want to be, and we don't explain to them who he actually is, what he's actually capable of, we will never, never, ever fully get the sacrifice that he gave. We will never understand how big of a deal that is. We will not understand the gravity of the cross without fully grasping what it will save us from. Mind you, it is the same God. It is the same God. But if you do not get that he is the same God of old as he is today, you will not fully grasp the cross. There is no new God. There is no new version of God. There is no softer version of God. There is just God. You remember back in the day, some preachers used to have these revivals, and a lot of the revivals had fire and brimstone sermons. You remember that? We called them turn and burn sermons. Um, fire preached about he would the preacher would speak about hell and fire, and if you don't turn, you're going to go to hell. And we've stopped since, right? We've stopped because we say, oh, that's That's too much. We can't be. That's not how you win souls. You have to talk about God's love. You have to create for people a safe space, a spiritually okay resting spot. You want to know where that got us? Just look around. Look around and you tell me where removing the penalty for sin got us. You tell me where removing the punishment that would come got us. You tell me where telling everybody else that God is always love and nothing else, and not telling them about where they would end up if they don't accept Him. You tell me where that got us. That got us here, where we can have shows on TV talking about the Antichrist as a cartoon, having a show called Lucifer, having a show called Evil, and it be rated number one to be seen and watched, even watched by Christians. You want to know where avoiding speaking about the pit is going to get you? Look at the world today, and you're going to have your answer. You're going to have your answer. There is no old God. Okay, I'm pretty tired of this guy. I'm going to block him. He's clogging up the chat section here. Sorry, guys. If God has never changed and never will change, why do we feel the need to soften the blow of what's coming? Is it not going to happen? Is it not? Did we forget? Is it that we forgot? Okay, we forgot because I think we have. Now, Luke 13, and he will answer, I tell you, I do not know where you are from. Depart from me, all you evildoers. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth when you see Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all the prophets of the kingdom of God, but you yourselves are thrown out. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I had a teacher once. He's quite a hilarious guy. And he said, talking about that, he said, yes, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, and those who don't have teeth will have to gum it. Those who don't have teeth will have to gum it. I wonder what they think, the modern church thinks that weeping and gnashing of teeth, how that plays into their loving God scenario. I want to know how their loving God scenario plays out when depart, I don't know you situation. God is the same today, yesterday, forever. He don't change. The same wrath that he can pour out, and he talks about it in Revelation, the same wrath that he poured out on Sodom and Gomorrah will be poured out on those who do not listen. Like it or not, it is not for you to like or dislike, and it doesn't change what's going to happen. Your liking of it will not stop it from coming. Your hating of it will not stop it from coming. Your acceptance of it will not stop it from coming. He's in charge of all of that. But you don't warn people. It's bad like this. You know there's a stove on, a gas stove on in the kitchen, and you have a 4-year-old, and the 4-year-old sees the flames and it's pretty. And the 4-year-old doesn't understand that those flames are dangerous to his body. And all you do is talk about how beautiful the flame is and how warm the flame is and how amazing the characteristics of the flame are and how the flame is constructed and how the flame comes to be. You talk to the 4-year-old about the flame in all its splendor, making it very appealing to the 4-year-old. You never tell the 4-year-old you can't just go and grab that flame because you know what? While the flame might be pretty, it's dangerous. It will burn you and destroy your skin and possibly kill you if you treat it poorly, you disrespect its properties, and you don't fully understand the power of that flame. So the 4-year-old takes your surface definition of fire and is looking at it, staring at it, and then goes to grab the fire and probably even sit on it because you told him it was warm. Then the flame burns the 4-year-old and is befuddled because "Uh, uh, you said the flame was pretty and the flame hurt me. That flame hurt me. I will never trust that flame again. I don't care how beautiful it looks. I hate fire." And we wonder why people go to church, get burned, and never go back. Because the church tells them God is just a pretty flame. Oh, look how beautiful, so warm. And then you don't realize the characteristics of the flame. The fire is still dangerous. It'll still consume. He is a consuming fire, isn't it? Yeah, okay, good. Fire's still pretty. I don't know if you've ever seen a bonfire. Fire is beautiful. I love watching bonfires, especially on when we go up to my buddy's house on the he lives on I mean a plateau. He is on a plateau. Like up, up, up. It takes almost an hour to get to where he is, and there's nothing up there. Nothing. We get rain, he gets snow. That's how high up he is. But every New Year's we go up there and any excess wood he has, pallets, we make this big bonfire. It is beautiful, it's warm, it's inviting, and outdoors, everything is covered in, I mean, feet upon feet of snow. Gorgeous, cold, but gorgeous. And then you have this massive bonfire in the middle. One thing he does, though, you know what he doesn't do? He will put that bonfire a ways away from his home. Because for as beautiful as the fire and as warm as the fire is, he understands the properties of fire and understands that that fire, at a moment's notice in the change of wind, can consume his home. But it is beautiful to look at. Thank you. It is beautiful to look at. But do not think for a moment that you can just do anything you want with fire without respecting what fire can do. Fire can cook your food, it can warm your home, but it can burn you to a crisp and destroy everything you have. Everything. He is a consuming fire. I want folks to be clear about this. I am not negating the soft, gentle shepherd that God is. He is that. He is the God that will leave the flock to go find one that's astray. That's God too. But you have to understand what you were when He found you. Because what you were when He found you was worthy of the other side of Him. That person was worthy of the other side. The fire that can consume your home, burn everything to a crisp. The one that will tell you, you think you're better than me, and come to you in a storm. That's the version of Him that you are worthy of getting. And because of the sacrifice of His Son, you're no longer in that post. That is why you have to understand all the natures of God. If you don't understand all the natures of God, you are in for a big, big surprise. I mean, big. He is love, He is peace, He's all of that. He is wrath, He is vengeance, He's an all consuming fire, He's a storm. He can destroy both body and soul. Same God. But if you don't understand that that's who He is all the time, the same way He is love all the time, who you are will not be shown for the piece of mess that it is. And His sacrifice for you will not be as loved, wanted, or even understood as it could be. It's a package deal. It is a packaged deal. In the event that you come across somebody that you know is lost, yes, tell them about God's love. But please do not forget to tell them about His wrath. It is a terrible thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. The prophets have been trying to tell us that other side of Him for forever. He's an all consuming fire. He will pour out His bowls of wrath. There is a side to God that you do not want to encounter, especially when He is giving you away from that. You do not want this. We have watched movies about Hulk. This is why I think Hulk was one of my favorite characters outside of Batman, right? And I have no doubt they've gotten this stuff from the Bible, okay? But believe it or not, or they got it from a spiritual standpoint. You're making me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. You remember that? That Hulk used to tell people that before he transitioned, right? Same person. You're making me angry, and you won't like me when I'm angry. People want to tell everybody about Bruce. They tell everybody about Bruce Banner. Brilliant, Bruce Banner. So what a great guy. Docile, quiet, right? Beautiful stuff. And then when you punch Bruce Banner in the face, and he tried to tell you, don't do that, man. You're going to make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. He turned into Hulk. All of a sudden, is ah! Hulk was always there. Hulk was always there. Hulk never left, bro. He was always there. God is the same. He has not changed. If you're not for him, then you'll end up being against him. If you're against him, you're going to see the side of him that you probably thought and wasn't told that existed. He doesn't relish doing it, but who he is cannot but do it. When I first started this journey, he said one thing to me. He said, I love you as you are, but I love you too much to leave you as you are. I love you as you are, but I love you too much to leave you as you are. There is no such thing as a born again sinner because he does not leave you that way. Once you've encountered God, that person is dead. You're not a born again sinner. You're born again. You're a child of God now. And he does not leave you as you were when you encountered him. It's a life changing experience. And so you're no longer that person. He will not leave you as you are, even though that's how he met you. And in order for him to do that, there are some things that need to break. There's some things that need to be snapped off, burned off, torn off. Don't forget who he is. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. Sodom and Gomorrah, saving Moses in the water, Jesus on the cross, hell, all the same God. All the same God. It's up to you to decide which version of him you want to encounter and which version of him you're going to force the hand on. That's on you. Choose you this day who you're going to serve. Decide now whether or not he is all he says he is or he's none of who he says he is. I love C.S. Lewis. I'm a big fan of C.S. Lewis. Why am I a big fan of C.S. Lewis? C.S. Lewis um, set out to disprove God. Um, he set out to make sure that he could show people that God did not exist. And he had this beautiful quote. So I'm going to bring this up. because I think it's a great way to segue out, okay? Because I want you to understand what he's saying here. A man who is merely a man and said the sort of things Jesus said would not be a great moral teacher. He would either be a lunatic on the level of a man who says he's a poached egg, or else the devil of hell. You must make a choice. Either this man was and is the Son of God, or else a madman and something worse. You can shut him up for a fool. You can spit at him and kill him as a demon, or you can fall at his feet and call him Lord and God. But let us not come up with any patronizing nonsense about him being a great moral teacher. He has not left that open to us. He did not intend to. That applies to more than just that analogy there. Do not for a minute patronize God by limiting him to just the goodness of him. And by goodness, I mean all the niceties that he has. He didn't leave you that option. Either he's the same God that will throw you into hell for eternity and save you if you turn, or he's not God at all. Understand this. Because without that, the cross is inconsequential. Without that, the cross is inconsequential. Do not let the cross become inconsequential. Tomorrow is the debate. It's a good debate tomorrow, I hope. Someone's going to come and prove to me the value of the Trinity. Not sure they're going to do that, but okay. Um, it's a great quote, Lisa. I love C.S. Lewis. Um, People have talked about his Narnia books as being witchcraft and all that stuff, but if you really read the book, truly read the book from the aspect that he meant for you to read the book, you'll understand. You'll understand fully what he meant by that book. Because there's a line in the book too about Aslan, the lion, the great lion. He's not a tame lion. He's not safe, but he is good. He is good, but he's not a tame lion. And he's not safe, but he is good. If that doesn't define God, I don't know what else does. He is good. He is good, but he's not tame. You can't direct him where you want. He's not tame. It's a beautiful analogy. He will swoop in and wipe out all your enemies. But do understand this, that is because he wants to, because he is good. Honestly. So tomorrow, tune in, 9 o'clock. We'll see if the guy shows up. He's supposed to send me all his documentation today. And so I can put it up on the screen. I'm going to give him his time to talk. And I don't know what exactly he's trying to prove to me. I have no idea. But he disagreed with my take on the Trinity. So I'll give him his time. Um, and I'll be patient. I promise I won't bring the hammer out. I promise I will not. Um, I'll remain like this the whole time. I promise. I promise. It's going to be tough, but I promise. I promise. Anyhow, um, midday tomorrow Eastern. Make sure you tune in. So we'll be there. He'll be there, and we'll see how it goes. Next week, as I said before, um, the lineup is almost fully set. Um, and I'll give you a taste of what might be next week here because I have it written down. Right now, I have set for Monday. I'll be going into the breakdown of Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. Okay. Oh, I did an entire show on the Trinity, but I'll go over it tomorrow. I won't go into that now. It's a whole long. Okay. Um, so tomorrow on Monday, we'll be talking directly about the breakdown of Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9. And then on Tuesday, we'll be talking about Thomas, doubting Thomas, as we call him. Wednesday, we're going to go into the story in full of Job. And then Thursday, we're going to talk directly about forgiveness and how that applies to people now. What exactly does it entail for folks now? And Friday is still up in the air. I have to come up with Friday today. So at least you have the beginning of the week set up. Okay. Um, my thought was to go into Song of Solomon and discuss whether it's pornography or a story of God's love. That's still up in the air. So if you do have suggestions about Friday, you can email me at straighttalkmb, Marlon Brown MB, at outlook.com. Straight Talk MB at outlook.com. Email me some topics and I'll peruse them and see what I come up with. But make sure it's today that you send them because I won't have time. I need to submit them all by the next 4 hours. So if you got an idea, send them to me. Straight Talk MB at outlook.com. And again, for those of you who are being led to, already asked about it, and want a way to support the efforts here, Cash App, PayPal. Cash App, PayPal. More importantly, share the mess out of this if you're on YouTube and on Facebook. And make sure you smash that like button if you liked it. If you don't like it, there's a down button that does this. You can do that too. I mean, be honest about your opinion. that's all you can be. So for those who want to donate to anything to do with the Cash App, PayPal. But otherwise, I'll see you people in the morning for the great debate about the Trinity, and you can get my viewpoints about it then. I'll go over the things I talked about on my viewpoint about it tomorrow. I don't think it's controversial to me, so to some it was, apparently. So we'll talk tomorrow. Remember, wisdom calls to you from the streets. Please, 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 please. Find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die, rely on yourself.